Well, I've got the camera set up from the video on making the shovel. I thought I would answer a few questions from viewers. I would like to give you credit as individuals, but unfortunately I can't look up my YouTube comments while I'm in the shop because I don't have an internet connection. So I'll just hope that you recognize that I've answered your question and that it was your question. And thank you for participating. Thank you for answering the questions. That helps everybody out. To start with, when we did the video on the punches and chisels, I didn't know the exact angles that the chisel should be ground to. I kind of had a general idea, and they're pretty close. But one of the viewers did comment, and he knew what the angles were. The cold chisel should be 60 degrees at the bevel, and a hot chisel, so long as you cool it frequently in use so it doesn't get too hot, should be about 30 degrees. So that's a good rule of thumb. For most things in the blacksmith shop, a few degrees one way or another just isn't going to matter. That same video, there was also a question on tempering using a little oven, or you can do this in your kitchen oven. Somebody wanted to know how long and at what temperature. I go as high as this will go, which is 450 degrees. Most tools I would rather go 500, and if I feel it is critical, I will take them to the kitchen oven. I'll use this just to de-stress and give it an initial temper so it's not just waiting to crack. I have had tools crack if I don't temper them soon enough. They're full of stress, and if you let them sit too long, that's always a risk. And I usually go an hour. This actually has a little timer, and it'll shut itself off after an hour. So that works out pretty well. So 450, 500, if you know what the steel is, look it up in the chart, decide how hard you want it, and temper it based on the chart. If you don't have an oven that'll get hot enough, you're going to have to do it with a torch or with some other method to guarantee that you get a good temper. Don't just accept 450 as a relative number and do that for everything. Some steels need to heat as high as 1100 degrees to temper properly. Also, if you're going to do this in the kitchen oven, make sure you scrub all the oil off first. Whoever does the cooking isn't going to like it if you stink up their kitchen oven with a bunch of tempering oil smoke. There was also a question on what pressure I run my gas forge at. Now that's, well, easy to answer for my forge is a difficult question to answer generally. Every gas forge is different. I'm running a chili forge, and I run based on the recommendations from the manufacturer of the chili forge. If you're running a Mankel or a Whisper forge or a homemade forge, your gas pressures likely won't be exactly the same as what I run. This forge will run as low as 6 pounds of gas. So I can turn this down to about there, and it'll run just fine. But you'll never forge weld at that. For forge welding, I need to run this up as high as 20 pounds, which is a lot more pressure. That's actually up to 25 is the maximum that I've got my tank set at out in the yard, because it has an adjustable regulator. 25 is as high as I can go, but I can forge weld with some success at 20 pounds. My altitude does make a difference, and sometimes I've got to run a little higher than Chili Forge recommends because I'm at 6,500 feet. I also put bigger orifices in the forge based on their recommendation. Quite a few people inquire about tongs and suggest that I do a video on tong making, and we will do that. In fact, it'll have to be several videos because there are flat jaw tongs, bolt jaw tongs, offset tongs, box tongs, pickup tongs, lots of different styles of tongs. And we'll get to that, just something I haven't had time. It'll be a fairly involved project to get it all set up and make it look good on video. The tongs that I use are a combination of tongs that that I've made, and I have lots I've made. This is just a small sample. Old tongs that I've picked up at auctions or tailgate sales. I have some tongs. These are called pause tongs and are made by the Gunther, Chad, Brad, and Rob. And I don't know if they're still offering these. They are so busy in their blacksmith shop, I don't know if they still sell tools. They go under the name of G3 since there's a father and 2 sons. But it'd be worth looking them up to see if they still make these. I really like the pause tongs, and I've made my own versions of them. The box jaw tongs that I tend to use, because they're really pretty affordable to buy. $40, $50 for a pair of tongs is not much money when you consider the amount of time it takes to make a pair of tongs. You should learn to make tongs, absolutely, but it's not always the most cost-effective thing, and sometimes it does make sense to buy tongs if you need them quickly, or if you need several sizes, or if you just don't have time to make tongs, go ahead and buy them. But these box jaw tongs are either Tom tongs or Billy tongs, depending on where you buy them. I think they probably come out of the same factory in Pakistan. But they're sold by Pay Tool in Arizona or Centaur Forge. Both sell essentially the same assortment of tongs. Another place you can get tongs is Blacksmith Depot or Canaan Sons, and they sell the Off-Center brand tongs. And these are 2 different versions of off-center bolt tongs, or they may call them chainmakers tongs now. And I don't know what they're selling now. I only see one version of this listed in their catalog, and I don't know if they're these lightweight ones or the heavyweight ones. Both of these are 1/2-inch stock tongs, so it just depends on what you need. And it may be worth ordering a pair just to see what they've got, and then order more if you like them, or give them a call and find out. I happen to have the Canaan Sons catalog here. Pay Tool and Centaur Forge also put out catalogs, but they have a lot of commercial tongs for sale. They have the off-center tongs. They have some kind of a European-made tong. Some of these are selling for $45 a pair. Some of them are, I see some $35 tongs in there. So they're really not that bad. I think they're pretty reasonably priced. But lots and lots of different tongs. These look just very similar to the Billy tongs with that big ball on the end. These are only at $30, so it's hard to make your own tongs when you can buy tongs this affordably. Nevertheless, I think making tongs is a really good thing to learn, and we will absolutely do some videos on it. And we'll do separate videos on flat jaw tongs, bolt jaw tongs, box jaw tongs, pickup tongs, at least those 4. And if you can do those, you can probably figure out how to do just about any style of tongs you need. So we will get to that. I just can't tell you exactly when. Now, speaking of tongs, I'm going to give you a little tip on watching blacksmithing videos and demonstrations. Everybody wants to watch what the hammer's doing. That's the obvious place to watch. But a lot of what happens during forging is controlled with the left hand. The hammer just goes up and down, but the left hand turns the stock. If you watch somebody's left hand, whether they're forging by hand or a power hammer, you'll watch them twist back and forth. Are they working just on one side? Are they working back and forth? Are they turning 180 degrees? Are they bringing it to the edge of the anvil? Where is the stock positioned? Are they raising up to create a bevel or dropping down for some reason to create a shoulder? All of those things are controlled with the left hand and by standing up straighter or crouching down a little bit with the knees. So don't just watch the hammer hand when you're watching videos or demonstrations. Watch that left hand, see what it's doing. I hope that answers some of the questions. I do try to read all the comments. I try to reply to the ones that have questions. If I don't reply to you, it isn't because I'm ignoring you. It's just because I got busy and I forgot. That does tend to happen sometimes. If it's important, feel free to ask the question again. And I will try to do a video like this as the questions pile up and they're worth doing little video responses to. There was a question on punching a hole. We will do a little video on hole punching just to clarify some of the issues with punching holes sometime in the very near future so that we can answer that question. But I think that's worthy of a short 5 or 10 minute video just to address hot punching. So remember, as always, like the video, hit that subscribe button, go to the description below and leave a donation if you are so inclined, but don't feel like you're obligated. Stay safe, have fun in the shop, and we will see you later.